Right, hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog. If you're new to the channel, as always, a big warm welcome. My name's Tristan Mortlock, this is Captain's Vlog. I just want to talk in today's video about the flag state requirements here on board Motor Yacht AWOL. Now AWOL is registered in Malta, therefore we have to comply with the Maltese Large Yacht Code regulations. So before we came out of the water in October, we had our flag state surveyor come on board for our annual survey. And basically what he does, he goes around, he checks all our ship certificates, he checks all our crew certifications, so qualifications. He then wanted to see our MLC compliance, so he checked all the crew members' seafarers employment agreements, which are known as SEAs, the hours of rest. So we have an app called Work Rest where we log all our hours of work and rest, and it goes to the main system, which goes to our shore-based management, and then we get a monthly report which is issued by the application itself. That gets printed out and then logged into the files. So when a surveyor comes on board, he can access and he can see that we're complying with the MLC requirements. Do you know what MLC is? They're the Maritime and Labour Convention. They basically set out the standards for crew members on board commercial vessels. So what they're entitled to, the hours of work and rest, and all that fun stuff. So I received, after our inspection from our flag state surveyor, I received an email of a few minor things that he wants us to change or to improve, which I'm going to read to you now. So here are the things that he wanted us to improve. So when we did the test, we normally do a full check the day or a few days before any kind of survey to make sure everything is in order. It normally is all in order, but it's always good to do a check. So we checked everything. Sorry for the noise. And it was all working, but obviously the day the surveyor comes on board, there's obviously a few issues. So in the crew area, on one of the emergency lights, we could still see clearly it wasn't working for whatever reason, but it was working the day before. That's been addressed and fixed now. The main fire pump was to be inspected because we had a low pressure problem. Now, bear in mind that it wasn't by low pressure, it was slightly lower than the required standards, and we had the backup emergency fire pump which met all the requirements. That now has been addressed. Turns out it was a faulty valve, so that's all been replaced by Slaven, the chief engineer. Now, as you can see, I'll put now on the screen, he's requested that we install a radar reflector on the radar mast. Now, you may think that on a vessel this size, that is not necessary. As you can see now on the screen, under the Maltese Large Yacht Codes, for GRP boats, so GRP is glass reinforced plastic, for vessels over 24 meters, which is us, we are required to have a radar reflector installed here on board. Not a big deal, they're probably 100-200 euros. Now we can screw that on the radar mast. And then he's asked to please photocopy of the ship radio station license. That's done every year. And as I mentioned in the previous video, we were doing the super chlorination on board. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link here or here somewhere. Basically what that entails is filling the freshwater tanks with chlorine and fresh water, opening all the taps and showers and toilets, everything around the boat that draws fresh water until the chlorine comes through. We then turn it all off. We leave it for the whole weekend. We let it for the whole weekend, which is 72 hours. And then we flush it all out. So we empty out all the tanks, fill up again with fresh water, empty, fill up until there's no longer a odor of chlorine. Now we've done that. The next thing was the daily crew safety meetings are being held. Now, as some of you may or may not know, every day whilst off charter, every work day, we do a crew meeting on board. It was my mistake. I was not logging the safety part on that on the official logbook. And what is addressed there is any new, MSNs or MGNs that relate to us. So an MSN is a marine shipping notice or a maritime guidance note to inform us of any changes in legislation in accordance to Maltese flag. So we have to go through that. We also have to discuss any near misses or incidences that happen on board. Maybe a crew member slipped over, and that's all part of the safety meeting, and that's to be conducted at intervals not exceeding 6 weeks. Next, he mentioned here, was in the final thing, blah blah blah. The articles of agreement to be filled, duly filled and maintained, which is fine, and that was it. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only 7 points, which is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. He was really happy actually. The surveyor, he said, it was all very good, all very minor things. But this is why it's so important to have these kind of surveys, to have fresh eyes on board. So here on Motor Yacht AWOL, what we do, we actually have 3, I would say it's actually 2 surveys and an audit. So we get our class survey done annually, Classes Classification Society. We do our flag survey annually, and then we do an internal audit by our ISM management company. If you don't know what ISM is, it's International Safety Management, which basically stipulates the safety procedures on board, safety training, compliance with certification, crew compliance, and all that kind of fun stuff. So that's done by our shore management once a year. So as you can understand, running a commercial yacht is a big responsibility. If you fail to comply with, like, you know, major things, it can be seen as gross misconduct. If a crew member was to seriously injure or kill themselves because of gross misconduct, it is a criminal offence. And the person that ends up getting prosecuted is usually the captain, in some cases the management company, and or the owner. So part of my job, along with the management company, is basically continuously covering our backside to make sure we are complying with, to the best of our ability, with the rules and regulations set out by flag, class, and shore management. So, you know, there's a lot that goes into you know, being a captain. People think you're just cruising around the Med, having a good time, getting a suntan, sipping on champagne. The reality is very, very different. You are responsible for the lives of all the crew members. You are responsible for the lives of all the passengers on board. You're responsible for the safety of the vessel. And not only that, you're also responsible for the safety of the environment. And, you know, it's only 3 things, but it's a lot of subcategories that do fall underneath that. So it's really important to have a good management team that stays on top of you. You know, the system we have implemented, if, for example, we have, you know, certificates that last for a year, 5 years, we have to do intermediate surveys, all these kind of things. I get emails of reminders saying, okay, this certificate is expiring in 3 months, you need to get it renewed. And just kind of like things like that. And it's great having that shore-based management, because, you know, I might forget about something. It does happen, and they will remind me of that it needs to be done. And so just basically continuously complying, and it's never over. Just as soon as you finish, everything's all good, you then got to start again and again and again. So it's just constantly doing that. And then also with the crew, you have to, even for myself, to be honest, not just the crew, is frequently remind them to upload their hours of work and rest. It's a legal requirement. Under the MLC, crew members must get a minimum of 10 hours of rest in any 24-hour period, and 77 hours a week. So of rest. So that's an absolute minimum. So what we try and do is give them 11, you know, during charters is 11 hours of rest a day to meet the 77 hours. What you can do on normal work days, if you give them the weekends off, you can have them getting 10 hours of rest a day. This is minimum, and then the weekends off, which then complies with the 77 hours of work. Under the Seafarers Employment Agreement, it must include the name of the employer, the employment conditions, what their position is, what their salary is. We must give them days of leave in accordance to the flag state. So it's normally 2.5 days per calendar month, plus bank holidays that are in accordance to the flag state. So we will be following the Maltese requirements. in their contracts, they must fully understand the contract. If they don't understand, it's our responsibility to sit down and explain it to them. Once they are happy, they must then sign and date the SEA, the Seafarers Employment Agreement. They are entitled to one copy, and the management company or the owning company have the other copy. Yeah, and then also, you know, part of the requirements is we could get what's called a port state control. Now, a port state control can be done anywhere. So if we come into France or Italy or Croatia or Spain or wherever it might be, we can get boarded by the port state of that particular country. They can come on board. They're entitled to see the ship certificates, the crew certificates, to make sure we're complying with all the regulation. They will want to look at the oil record book. They want to look at the garbage management plan or the garbage record book, the official logbook. They might want to check our electronic charts to make sure we're keeping up with the weekly updates from the weekly notices to mariners. They might want to check the crew accommodation. They might want to check the quality of the water. They could do a galley inspection. All that kind of stuff they want to check to make sure the vessel is compliant. And more importantly, they just want to make sure the boat is safe and the people on board are safe. That's their main job. They're not there. They don't want to cause problems. They want to make sure the vessels navigating in our seas are navigating in a safe and effective way. And that's basically what it is, guys. Yeah, so that's it, guys. That's a little insight for you of the requirements we have to do in order to manage a commercial yacht. If the vessel was registered private, then it's a lot less paperwork, it's a lot less requirements. Don't ask me why. I don't understand either. I think the requirements should be the same, because it's still about, it should still always be about the safety of life, the safety of the vessel, and the safety of the marine environment, regardless of private or commercial. But you know, that's just an opinion. I think most seafarers would agree. Probably the owners of the private yachts won't agree because it costs them more money to run. But anyway, it is what it is. It's the legal requirements. So guys, really hope you did enjoy that video. But before we go, if you don't know, if you're new to the channel, we're offering you the chance to win an all-inclusive week's vacation right here on board Motor Yacht AWOL with 5 of your closest friends and family. It includes the flights for the 6 of you from anywhere in the world. There's no cost to you after you bought your ticket. The tickets start from £15, which is around $20 US. Go into the link in the description, the raffle link, and buy your tickets today. We also have an Instagram account called Super Yacht Captain. You know, we do little stories and posts on there to show you guys what we're doing here on board when we're not making these videos. And also we have the Super Yacht Captain Facebook page. As always, a huge thank you to our channel members, and especially a big thank you to all our patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for your continued support. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, you found it insightful, go ahead and click that thumbs up button, because it really does help the channel to grow, and I would really appreciate it. So thank you for clicking that thumbs up button. If you haven't done already, you might want to consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification so you don't miss any future videos if you enjoy this content. Again, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next time. See you and ciao.